So much can change in an NFL calendar year. Players who took the league by storm one year can be on their way out the next. Players you've never heard of can jump to star status. And sometimes it takes just the right team and combination of players for guys to dominate. Today's list is the best example. The most improved players from the 2020 NFL season. Josh Allen. The most polarizing player in football was also its most improved in 2020. When he first joined the NFL, Allen was a bazooka without an aiming system. He flashed in his first 2 seasons with the Bills, but was wildly inconsistent and inaccurate. 2020 was completely different. Instead of bailing to run, Allen began to find his outlet in secondary receivers. Because of that, he improved his completion percentage by an insane 10%, from 59% to 69% of his passes. He nearly doubled his touchdown numbers and threw for 4,500 yards. Even when attempting over 100 more passes, Josh Allen kept his interception totals the same. That halved his interception rate since his rookie year. He's still a dynamic and tough runner with the football, scoring 8 times on the ground in 2020. His leap in play brought the Buffalo Bills their first division title since Josh Allen was 1 year old. It also threw Josh Allen into the elusive company of being an elite quarterback. With his newfound nuance in the passing game, the skies are the limit for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Xavien Howard. During the 2019 offseason, the Miami Dolphins signed Xavien Howard to a 5-year, $76.5 million contract, cashing him out as the highest-paid corner in football. The Fins worried about their investment as Howard struggled on the field and struggled to stay on the field with lingering knee injuries. He was put on injury reserve mid-season. Any doubts about his big deal, Xavien quickly erased in 2020. It's incredibly rare to find a cornerback that plays so much man coverage and still ends up with as many interceptions as Howard. He did something virtually unheard of in today's NFL, a 10-interception season. It's been over a decade since the last time it happened. Teams made it a point to go opposite of him, scared that he'd change the complexion of the game with a ball-hawking interception. Not just normal picks either, ball-hawking, one-handed interceptions. Here's his one on Patrick Mahomes in case you missed it. Look, we know TJ Watt and Aaron Donald had great years, but Xavien Howard should be in the conversation for 2020 Defensive Player of the Year. Trey Hendrickson. Yeah, you might have done a Google search to look up his name before you listen to this. The public may not know who Trey Hendrickson is yet, but NFL players sure do. The FAU standout was the 3rd-round selection of the Saints and wasn't heard much from until 2020. What if we told you that Hendrickson and Aaron Donald had the exact same total of sacks in 2020? That's right, 13.5 times Trey put the passer on their back. And compared to Donald, he did it in 200 less attempts. That's incredible. Hendrickson uses every tool in the tool belt to get the quarterback. He has an array of pass rush moves, both speed and power, and a bend that you just can't teach. With Cameron Jordan on the other side, it gave Trey an opportunity to get a ton of one-on-ones. Opportunities he absolutely feasted on in 2020. With his contract up, there are a lot of questions surrounding him. Is he a one-year wonder? Will the Saints resign him after he's expected to get all this money now? Will he take on a bigger role in early downs in 2021? Hey, I guess we'll just have to find out. But regardless, Trey Hendrickson went from a no-name to one that everybody has to look out for. DK Metcalf. In his playoff debut last season, DK Metcalf foreshadowed what 2020 would look like. He's just too big, strong, and fast, even next to other elite NFL athletes. His improvements as a route runner ignited his breakout season. With Russell Wilson throwing him the ball, it's just unfair for defenses. He trampled over his 2019 stats, finishing the season with 83 receptions, 1,303 yards, and 10 touchdowns. The 1,303 yards broke Steve Largent's 35-year-old Seahawk franchise record. Among the jaw-dropping moments, some even came when the ball was not in his hand. Oh yeah, we're gonna keep talking about him hawking down Budda Baker. Against the Eagles again, DK exploded for 177 yards on 10 receptions. Yeah, you heard it here first. DK Metcalf is going to be a megastar in the NFL. Seems like every game he does something that his doubters said he couldn't or wouldn't be able to do. And then when he's done there, he does what he does best: blow the top off of defenses and moss your team's best corner. If 2020 was any indication, he's off to a decade of dominance. Leonard Williams. The Giants traded for Leonard Williams in the middle of the 2019 season for 3rd and 5th round picks. Going into 2020, it looked like a bonehead move. In the 2019 and 18 seasons, Williams recorded just half a sack. Still, the Giants decided to give him the franchise tag, and boy did he ball out. Leonard finished the season with a career-high 11.5 sacks, and as Defensive Player of the Year candidate. His game-clinching sacks against the Seahawks and Cowboys secured major upsets for the Giants and kept them in the playoff race until the very end. Williams didn't just crush quarterbacks, though. He returned to being the elite edge holder for the Giants' run defense, with a career-high 14 tackles for a loss and 57 total tackles on the year. After being shipped out and called a bust with the Jets, the former first-round pick had the best season of his career. With a new contract on the horizon, this time we won't be surprised when the Giants triple down on their blooming defensive end. Myles Jack. Myles Jack has played 3 different linebacker positions for the Jaguars since entering the NFL. He started as an SAM in his rookie season and then moved to middle linebacker. The super athletic Jack is perfect for today's NFL. But as the Jags fell back into mediocrity, so did Myles. His last 2 seasons were 2 words: disappointing and horrible. In the 2020 offseason, he was moved to weak side linebacker. It turned out the position suited him perfect. While the Jags had the worst season in their franchise history, Myles Jack had his best. He tore through the lines, hitting runners in the backfield, and could be seen running sideline to sideline, making tackles at every and any spot on the field. While Myles didn't fill up the stat sheet, it was clear he was again one of the most dynamic defenders in football. He finished the season with 118 tackles, 6 for a loss, 1 sack, and 1 interception. T.J. Hockenson. T.J. Hockenson might be the highest-rated tight end prospect in the history of the NFL draft. He ended up with Detroit as the 8th pick. After a historic debut and a few more great games, his rookie season came to a crashing halt when he suffered a concussion against the Chiefs in just Week 4. He battled injuries the remainder of the year, playing in only 12 games. Whispers of that terrible B-word surfaced, but with Stafford throwing him the ball, it didn't take long in 2020 to show what kind of player the Lions got. He was a huge force in the run game, blocking down to create huge lanes for Detroit's crew of runners. As a reliable target for Stafford, he threw to him early and often. TJ finished the season with 67 receptions on the year. As a red zone and seam threat, he hit pay dirt 6 times, including a dramatic, diving walk-off touchdown against the Atlanta Falcons. His 723 yards earned him the first Pro Bowl honors of his young career. The Lions will have a new head coach in 2021, and they have to be excited about the blossoming Stafford-Hockenson connection. And they'll need him to keep improving as a centerpiece of the Lions going forward. Garrett Bowles. You hardly ever see offensive linemen on a most improved list, especially a guy that's been as underwhelming in his career as Garrett Bowles. In his first 3 seasons, Bowles led the league in holding penalties, and the Broncos decided to decline his 5th-year option. At times, he was called out by fans to be benched or even cut in 2019. Little did they know, he would be the best left tackle in football just months later. Bowles has been absolutely dominant, controlling defenders in the run game and rushers in the pass game alike. According to PFF, he was the top-ranked tackle in the 2020 season and didn't allow 1 single sack on any Denver quarterback. Without enough name recognition, he didn't make it into the Pro Bowl in 2020, but he did get paid. In November, the Denver Broncos signed him to a 4-year extension, locking him in as the Broncos' blindside protection until 2024. So, what changed? Garrett Bowles points to the mental part of football, understanding when and where to put his hands on defenders to stop them in their tracks. If he plays like he did in the 2020 season, and not like the 2019 season, Garrett Bowles will be around for a long time. Nelson Agholor. Agholor was once the premier deep threat for the Philadelphia Eagles and played a big role in winning their first Super Bowl. Unfortunately, he had one big hole in his game, consistently coming down with the catch. He dropped 24 passes in 5 seasons as an Eagle. It wasn't just the amount, it was the magnitude. 2 of his drops were about as poor-timed as possible. Game-winning touchdowns against the Falcons and Patriots. He lost their trust, became a meme, and eventually was cut. The Las Vegas Raiders took a chance on Nelson Agholor in the offseason, and boy, did it work out for them. He posted career highs in receiving yards and touchdowns, averaging 19 yards a reception. All this while only dropping 5 passes. Even though he was left out to dry, Nelson Agholor succeeded after an entire fan base turned on him. Lucky for him, the NFL is a what-have-you-done-for-me-lately kind of league. If he can keep his drops down, he could be an integral part to a young Raiders receiving core. Kyler Murray. Yeah, Kyler Murray won Rookie of the Year. We know. That's how much better he got this year. In his second season, you could tell the game was slowing down for him, and he was getting comfortable. His pocket presence and decision-making were vastly improved. At mid-season, Murray was in the MVP discussion. After 10 games, he was on pace to be the league's first 4,000-yard passer and 1,000-yard runner. Obviously, that didn't happen between some injuries and late-game struggles by the team at the end of the season, but his numbers are flat-out ridiculous. Murray threw for 6 more touchdowns than last year, while improving his rushing marks by over 300 yards and adding 7 more touchdowns on the ground. But most importantly, Kyler Murray's clutch play and development pushed the win-loss record up, taking them from the depths of the first overall pick to formidable. With Hopkins by his side, we could see Murray on this list again come 2021. So, there you have it, the most improved players of 2020. Who did we miss? And who's your most improved player from the 2020 season? And who should we watch out for this upcoming year? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, and go ahead and subscribe and turn on post notifications. As always, this has been another Nonstop Sports Banger. We'll catch you next time.